there were a lot of things outside of my control that popped up. It happens, unfortunately, I hate to say. So, again, here we are on this stream for going through the Digimon Reference Manual. So, perhaps it's best we do a quick summary of some of the things. Going through the reference manual, starting, we've figured out some of the things that I like and dislike when it comes to the rookies. For one, I rather like, as much as I like Agumon, they constantly use Agumon for so many different Digimon, to the point it gets kind of annoying. We've learned that I dislike recolors. It's neat one or twice, but after a while, it just pads out the reference manual. We've also found some rather odd ideas, such as Digimon that are too complicated or don't seem like Digimon. Or in the case of Crabmon X Antibody, a joke that I don't think they caught. That being said, we have seen some Digimon designs that are perfect. Or at least what I consider close. The original Agumon is a good example of one. Armadillomon. I believe Bearmon was. No, Bearmon wasn't. Agumon, Armadillomon, Biomon. Burgermon was pretty close. But the one I think that was really shocking last time was Cutemon, as I was not really expecting Cutemon to be considered one of the more perfects. But hey, that happens. So, going into this session, part 2, because we'll see how it goes, there are a few rules with how this works. 1. Every Digimon I comment on, I have to give both a positive and a negative. It doesn't matter if it's a design I really rather like. I have to give one positive or negative design aspect of that Digimon, because I've got to be fair to all of them. 2. I can't use vague terms like it doesn't look like a Digimon or it doesn't feel like a Digimon. I kind of have to give an actual explanation as for why this doesn't feel like a Digimon or why this does feel like a Digimon. Other little rules. After I go through my whole analysis of the Digimon, I will take about roughly 30 seconds, give or take, for you guys to all comment on what's happening on the designs. Other little things, depending on how my throat is, because when I did this last time, the amount of talking I did actually wore out my throat. And it's still a little hurt from last session, so we may shorten this a bit. If I feel as though I'm losing my voice, I'm going to stop. As for how far we'll go, I mean, I would like to go through all the Digimon, but it's hard to say. So, before we begin, I'm going to go... no. So, while we're here, remember to follow me on Blue Sky for updates. Again, I apologize for the lack of time. Some things had come up, and one of the things I dislike about the YouTube app is it's rather finicky when it comes to posting updates. Posting in the community tab. So, yeah. It was actually fairly last minute. I was hoping to do this at 5. Some things came up. Now, with that out of the way, let's begin with the first of the Digimon that coming through. And that is Ebby Burgermon. So, things about the design I like. I like that it looks like a fast food mascot. I like the cute design. I think the hat is also cute. A lot of cuteness here. What I don't like, it's basically Burgermon. And I'm going to read it down here. Pure heart, form, variant, covers Ebby. Okay, so Ebby Burgermon is supposed to be like shrimp. supposed to be a Burgermon that it puts shrimp into its meals. I can see it with the pink and the tail. It's still Burgermon. Now, I like that you made it look like a fast food mascot. The Burgermon hat, like it's working at a Burgermon restaurant. I think they could have done more with the shrimp aesthetic. Maybe put bits of shell. Like, I get it. It looks like Burgermon, and you're trying to make that whole Burgermon line. The problem is this doesn't read like a shrimp. It doesn't read like a shrimp Burgermon. It doesn't feel like it has anything to do with fish. Add something that says fish, shrimp, surf and turf. As is, this feels like the in-training to Burgermon. I'm assuming ebi means shrimp or crustacean in Japanese. Let me do a quick check on that, because one thing I've learned is, just from trying to learn Japanese, the Japanese language likes, a lot of anime like to add in references here and there, which will obviously fly off the head of those that don't speak the language. Let me just look this up real quick. Ebi. Okay, so it's just literally shrimp Burgermon. Okay, so ebi is just shrimp, at least according to Google. So, like I said, things I like. It's cute. It's pink. I kind of guess it works with the shrimp thing. Things I don't like, it's just Burgermon, but pink. The hat, I think, should have been something to indicate shrimp. And we're going to give it a few seconds to allow you all to comment. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe for this stream. So we're going to give it about 30 seconds. Looking off on the time. Ooh, pop. Okay. So about 30 seconds has gone through. So we're going to go to the next design. And that is a Kakimon. We've got another Crossroads Digimon. First, let's look at the design. I like the idea that you're making a Crayola pencil, I mean to say. So that's a rather unique Digimon design. I'm assuming that's like toy clay for the hands. The Crayola. If this was a mascot for Crayola, like this was used as for a Crayola box, I could easily see that work. And as a Digimon, yeah, I can see this to represent crayons. What I don't think I like. What do I like? It's not a perfect design. I will say that. I think if I were to make this design better, or in my opinion, bear in mind, my opinions on these are bear in mind, when I make these comments and such, that's not me saying this is definitive. It's just my opinion, and I could be very wrong. And if I were to say a thing I disliked with the design, I think I would have liked to have seen an eraser somewhere. Maybe one of the hands being an eraser. Maybe I can understand, maybe make the bottom half an eraser, that standard pink eraser, because this just, like I said, like as a Crayola mask, like if this was the mascot for a box of crayons, or like say if Crayola did a uh, collaboration with Digimon, I can see this being used as the design for that, as like the big mascot. As a Digimon, I think but what I would add is an eraser or some kind of like eraser implement. Otherwise, it's a pretty neat design. Like I said, I like the Crayola elements, the crayon elements. I like the pencil idea. I like the concept. I just think it needs a little tweaking. So, 30 seconds. If any of you'd like to comment, you can comment whenever you like, even when I'm talking. So, hi Renamon565. Oh, don't worry. I'll try to get to Renamon. We'll see how far we go. A B C D E F G H I J E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R. It'll be a while, but we'll see. The Agumons really did take up. So currently we're on Akakimon. So, any comments? We're going to extend this for another 30 seconds just to give people time to take in the Crayola mascot. Let me adjust the camera. So, we're coming down to the end of the 30 seconds. So, we're going to move on to the next Digimon. Elecmon. This is one of the early Digimon out there. Elecmon, mammal retaining of Suanomon with Digital, strength, curiosity, and love and mischief, inherited from Suonomon. Elecmon has 9 tails. Okay, so I know Renamon is supposed to be the big fox Digimon. Knowing about the 9 tails, and knowing, I think, actually no, Elecmon is not supposed to be a Kitsune. It's supposed to be a Ryugen. There's a yokai which is basically the lightning animals that fall from the sky from a storm. And I believe that's what Elecmon is supposed to reference. Things I like about the design. I like the mammalian aspect of it. You know, they worked in that this is a mammal animal. They went a bit vague with what it's supposed to represent. Knowing about the 9 tails, you know, you could argue it's supposed to be fox-like, but that's not the direction they're going with, especially since Renamon would become a thing later on. Blue and red kind of works together. That being said, an issue I have with this design is there's a couple things. Not a big fan of the red, although that may just be coming up on red on my monitor. Given that this is electricity, I think they should have added some more lightning fractal lines on the design to really make it that this is electricity. I will say they didn't make it like Pikachu, because that would have been very easy to do. The other thing I'm a little iffy on is the ears. They read more like rabbit, although this is also supposed to be a very, not generic, but very different animal. It's supposed to be, you know, it could be any animal. But honestly, it reads more like fire. You know, it says Electmon, but it looks more like a fire Digimon. Especially when you take into account the 9 tails reference to it. So, I think things I like that it looks like a mammal. I like that it doesn't really read as like any specific animal. Things I don't like, I think it needed more implication that this is electricity and not fire, and that the ears I'm iffy with. Another bonus I'll say is they didn't copy Pikachu. I'm glad about that. So, 30 seconds. Any comments? If you, anyone who's watching can easily comment. I know I like having that interaction with you all. Okay, we'll be moving on to the next Digimon. Elecmon Violet. We've got a recolor. That's a design I don't like. Virus. Is there any big difference? Okay, so basically it's just evil. I like that they went with the... Now, as much as I dislike recolors, I think this design does a better job at saying electricity. Partially because of the yellow, I hate to say with Pikachu, but the purple also adds that nice, like, this is lightning hitting the ground in darkness. Personally, I think I prefer the violet design, Elecmon Violet, over the original. So this is one of those rare cases where the recolor is actually a bit better than the original, in my opinion. Things I dislike, ears are probably the big thing, and that it's a recolor. But, given how much I prefer it, I'll say that this is... I'm going to give the Elecmon Violet the perfect design, because it reads electricity. It reads electricity, that this is an electric Digimon. Not fire, not weird plasma. It's electricity. From the patterning on it. Again, I also kind of like purple, but it also comes off as like a dark color. So that said, if you're going for a design, something like this for electricity. Now, I think they probably would have done better with a deeper blue than a purple. And we still have an issue with the ears. But otherwise, this is where I would go. Thoughts? We're getting 30 seconds. Actually... I was double checking my screens because the screen here looks purple. On the other screen it looks blue. Probably work better with the blue, but... Something was running out there. So I think we'll move on to the next Digimon. Alizamon. This is one of the newer designs out there. I believe this appeared in I believe it's the web comic based on the card game. Now, I don't know how it is in the card game because I haven't played it in a while because no one really plays where I live. Well, they kind of play, but it's just more no one does much because it's just dead in the area. So, based on the frilled lizard, which they added a bunch of frills around. That's an interesting use of a character design. The blue and purple kind of give the idea that this is not something bright colors on an animal usually indicates if this is poison. This is a venomous creature. Don't come towards it. Or poisonous. It's to read off, hey, don't come near me. And it's a frilled lizard. They really went into the frilled element. I know this wasn't intentional, but the pink and blue, I realize it's not the same colors as the trans flag, but I have a feeling that given Sylveon, which has become sort of a trans icon, I'm wondering if Elizamon was made as a sort of, this is the Digimon equivalent. I could be wrong. I'm not certain on that. But it does make me wonder if that was the direction. That isn't a critique or anything. It's just, it's something I ponder. But it's things I like. It's a frilled lizard. I like that they worked in the ruffles to make it that this is a frilled lizard. Things I don't like. I think the pink is a little too red. I think they should have made the design a lighter pink. Probably even add in a little more pastel. This is more of a hot pink. Not hot pink. How do I put it? It's more like a purple pink. And I think this would have worked better with a more pastel pink. I also think it would have been a good idea to add in some white into the design, because as is, it's just blue and pink. Purple pink. But I'll say this. This is again another one of the more perfect designs to go for Digimon. It's cute. It's still dangerous. It comes off as, it reads frilled lizard, well, ruffled lizard. And it's like, I can see, I like the design. I mean, it's no Dorumon, but I like the read of it. The coloring, the concept. Yeah, I like this design. So, thoughts? Slow night, because we're not getting a lot of comments today. At some point, I need to get a transparent comment on here. The reason that hasn't done, I tried using some CSS code and it keeps refusing, and I don't know why. So I may have to look into some other methods. Like I said, there was a lot of last minute stuff that came up that messed this. So, but I'd already scheduled and I wanted to get this through. So let's move on to the next design. Espimon. So, if I'm correct, Espimon first appeared in Ghost Game, I think? Is that the correct name? Things I like. It comes off as an astronaut, sort of, well, like a little toy astronaut, which is an interesting design choice. You're adding in the bear aesthetic. Blue. Things I don't like, I think they went a bit too deep into the... this is an astronaut design. It's an android, so I think what I would remove is these jetpacks. I don't think they're necessary. Or if you're going to have the jetpacks, maybe have them collapsed in. I think these give more than enough of a symbol of he's flying around. I don't think the jetpacks were necessary. Other design quirks, I think this right here should have probably been used as the mouth as opposed to this little mouth. If you want an example of what I would go with, would be Poyo Poyo with the little slimes. just make this like that, a little slime thing, and this is the mouth. You can have it that comes up and down. As is, I'm also going to give it that it's a little too complex for a rookie. So, it's not the worst I've seen, but I don't know. It's an eraser soon one makes mistakes. This Digimon makes no mistakes. That's pretty far, but whoa, okay. Good comment. Let me do something real quick. Is my stream going too far back? Because that Digimon is a fairly early comment, so am I... Chat, what Digimon am I currently on? Just so I can get an idea of where everyone is. Because I'm currently on Espimon, and XEOU is commenting about... What was that Digimon called? Akakimon. Where are you guys on currently? Because if there's this delay, that has me very concerned. Just to clarify, we're on Espimon. Okay. I'm gonna assume everyone is up to date that we're on Espimon. Things I like. I like the idea that it's an astronaut, but I don't like the wing. I don't like the little jetpack wings. And I feel the mouth should have been moved down to underneath here and make this like an armor panel. And make the head more like a slime controlling the body. So, I guess I'll give 30 seconds to ponder this. I actually may get more just to make sure there's nothing wild going on. Let me check something. I apologize about how quiet things are. It's just it's weird to me that I'm getting comments for Akakimon and I'm on Espimon and it's throwing me for a loop. Okay, so we're gonna head back to the next Digimon. So, Fake Agumon Expert. So, fake Agumon Expert. We've got another Agumon. We've got another recolor. Those are like the two big mistakes to do with a Digimon design. Things. So, but before we go into that rant, let's go with things I like. First thing, I like the idea that this tie with the collar is supposed to be a mouth. That is a very interesting design, interesting design choice. Bit unusual, but that works. I like the idea. I like that they went for a more. This is more of a professor, more like a lecture professor, whereas the previous design was more of like a scientist. Things I don't like. It's an Agumon. It's a recolor. And if I'm going to be honest, this little bat thing right here is a bit excessive. We don't need, it just had to be a standard swagger stick. We don't need the evil magic girl baton. It's, again, good ideas, especially with the mouth thing here, but everything else, no. This is what you should not be doing when you're making a Digimon. You shouldn't be doing an Agumon. You shouldn't be doing a recolor. Actually, if I'm going to be honest, I understand not making it black Agumon because the black of the Agumon would hide in the coat. But I kind of would have preferred if this was black Agumon. Its title was stolen. So, and I know I don't bring up lore often, but read this. A genius among Agumon with a doctorate in digital monster studies from Digital World Academy. Its title was stolen from Agumon Expert. Fake Agumon Expert lacks Agumon Expert's knowledge of Digimon species and ecosystems, but it has no qualms spreading false information, so caution is warranted. Even so, its feeling of rivalry is the real deal, and it never fails to concoct ideas designed to cause trouble for Agumon Expert. Fake Agumon Expert uses its special moves. Okay, that's its move. So, it has a doctorate. Apparently, it went to college. It went through everything. It's just... but it was stolen from... But that doctorate was stolen by Agumon X. I don't know. This was clearly made to just pad out the... This was made to just make a virus Agumon Expert. It's... No. If this was a different Agumon, it's just a black Agumon wearing this, and that's fine. But it's a Digimon, and it's taking up space in the reference manual. So, thoughts on fake Agumon Expert? Opinions? So we're kind of moving through. I'm... Chad, is everything okay? Because you're being very quiet these days. Falcomon. It's a bird. I've always gotten a bit confused with falcons and hawks, but right off the bat, things I don't like. This reads more mammalian. These don't really read like wings or anything, which it reminds me more of Gabumon. Also, why did you put teeth? Well, I know why they did that. They were trying to make it look more cooler. So I'm not going to ding them on that. I like the idea that you try to make a bird. What I don't like is it looks like you try to make a bird by making a mammal. The arms don't read bird. The teeth, actually, no, I'm going to ding them on the teeth. The teeth is a weird inclusion. I know some birds have like serrations or pseudo teeth, but this is a weird design element. The body reads more mammal. It to me it looks like a Gabumon that became a bird, and that's no. And I will say it's not too complex compared to some of the designs, but I feel as though it's going a bit too far with complexity. It's just almost getting there. So things I would change, like make this read more like a bird and less like a mammal. I'm glad they didn't just take Biomon and make, just recolor Biomon. I'm glad they made something new. But in doing so, they just kind of made Gabumon. Gabumon is a bird. So this is one of those designs I'd say don't head in this direction. I can see why people would like this design, but there are too many things wrong about it in my opinion. It feels more like a try hard than anything. So I like that they tried to make a bird. I like the concept you didn't just take Biomon, but it looks like they just took Gabumon. Any opinions on Falcomon? Just letting it settle in. So I'm actually going to drink a little bit of water. Oh, that actually did help. So going on to the next design is the 2006 Falcomon design, and wow, this is an improvement. It looks like a bird. It looks like you didn't just take Gabumon and turn them into a bird. It's not really a recolor because it looks different. This looks like they've done something. This looks like someone looked at Falcomon and said, I don't like this design, and did some major redones. The Falcomon we saw prior looks like a prototype compared to this. I like, it's a bird. It looks like a bird. They didn't just copy Biomon. And then they added in the ninja aesthetic. And that's something I feel Digimon doesn't do a lot, which is very weird with the rookies. They don't do a lot of the ninja designs. But I'm going to give it that this is the perfect design. This is something you want to shoot for. If the previous Falcomon was like what you shouldn't do, this is like what you want to go with. If I had a problem with this design, I would probably say the red is a bit excessive on the eyes. I think they should remove some of the red. But other than that, like, to go from that previous design, that could just be the artwork. sometimes that's the artwork. And let me see if I can find other artwork of Falcomon. That may just be the chat. That may just be the artwork they gave it. But I'm still seeing the Gabumon issue. One critique to anyone that's trying to make a Digimon, and I'm surprised I'm getting it here and not the X antibodies. When you make the design, whatever you make as the design as the picture, make it readable, because if I have to look at other, Bandai is unique. They have multiple ways of showing Digimon in different formats. But for a lot of people that make their own Digimon or their own artwork, you may only have one concept, one piece of art of it. And if it's difficult to read, then you can get to something like me where I look at the Digimon and go, oh, that's just a Gabumon but a bird. I think that's the other takeaway on comparing these two. It's not just that the design has to be it's not just that the design has to be good, it's you have to present it well. XEAU, how are you doing tonight? Been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this as well. It's been a hectic day. A very hectic day. No, I will not discuss why. But, you know, like I was saying, this perfect, previous not. My comment was about the Crayola one. Yeah, and the Crayola Digimon caused me some concern because it was like, is there a delay? Just call me X. I'll call you. Okay, X. Right now we're on Falcomon, the 2006 anime version. My big thing was I preferred this version over the previous design, and I like that it's a ninja, and they really played up that ninja aspect. And I was going on a whole rant of, if you're gonna make a design, present it well, because if you can't read it, then you can confuse the mind. We're gonna give this about 30 seconds for any additional comments you all want to add. Bear in mind, you can all add in comments whenever you want. I kind of give this 30 seconds both to give you time to comment, but also for my throat to rest, because last time I did this, it really messed up my throat. We're going to do another water. While we're here, chat, would it be better if I move my... actually, let me try something. Okay. I think I prefer this, because it looks like I'm looking at the Digimon. That's going to be real. But anyway, we've got another perfect design. Hopefully we can get to Renamon today, but we'll see. Floramon. We have another one of the plant Digimon. I believe Floramon was one of the Season 1 Digimon. Kind of wish they would put the date when these were added. Hold on, let me check. No, it doesn't. So, let me take a look at this. I like that Floramon... I know I dislike complexity in these designs, but I like that Floramon's design indicates that, from a look at it, it appears like it's a larger, more dangerous Digimon. But it's hiding it in the shape of a small design. So I like the color use of the purple, the green, the red, the yellow. Pretty neat design. They're also basing it off of, I believe it's that plant that uses like rotting flesh smell to attract flies to, although I could be misremembering. The helmet, the saillet, is an interesting concept, interesting design element. Things I don't like. I think when it comes to this frill, I think it would work better to make it like, say, a crest onto the helmet rather than, say, a frill that goes around. Other things I like that the petals on here make, plays up that it looks like hands. It's subtle, but it works, and I can almost see this doing like Spider-Man stuff. But I guess the last thing, the reptile tail is a weird inclusion. I'd almost say omit it. But otherwise, we've got another perfect, I would say this is a perfect design to go towards. It's a weird thing of, it's complex, it's just a little complex, but they went into the right direction with that complexity. They didn't just add a bunch of random armor and stuff everywhere. They actually really considered where to take this. And like the only real complaint I have is the tail and the petals, and that's about it. I like the color usage. I like they took inspiration from a plant. Actually, I think I prefer Floramon all over Palmon, which is a weird thing to say. And we haven't even gotten to Palmon. We got to a recolor, but like, it's weird. It's weird what Digimon will come up as perfect and what won't. But we're going to give this about a 30-second rest, 30-second commentary. Okay then. Off to the next Digimon. Funbeamon. Things I don't. I'll say this right now. I've heard some people say that it's Vanbeamon or Funbeamon. I don't know why the fun is up there. I think that's a language situation, but I'm not certain, and it's weird. We also have an X antibody, but they've done it right this time. So, things I like. It reads a bee. It's a cute bee. Especially where I think the inspiration for some of the later evolutions. I like the bee. I like that it reads bee. It looks fluffy, like a bumblebee. I think I like the addition of little spikes, which kind of contrast the cuteness of it. If I had a complaint, I think the wings should have been blue and the antenna black. But that's one of those weird, I know why they're doing that, because black is a very weird color to use. Gotta pad them, Digimon. I take it you're on fake Agumon expert. Hold on. But Funbeamon, um, let me look up another thing I dislike that isn't just color. Because if it's just going to be color, that's going to be a weird thing. Um, I think the stinger, adding that barb. I know bees have a barb on their stinger so that when they sting and they pull out, the venom sac can stay in. I don't think that should have been referenced. I think that should have been omitted. But otherwise, this is almost a perfect design. We're getting a lot of perfect designs here. I'm surprised. But yeah, Funbeamon is one of the perfect designs that I will say works. That it's weird. Like, my only complaint is this barb and maybe the colors. That's it. And I say I'm also glad they didn't add the. It's a type of eye you see a lot of insects use. You know, the multi lens eye. If you want an example of that, look up Waspinator from Beast Wars, or Beasties if you live in Canada. But yeah, this is again one of those designs that you kind of want to go towards. It's a bee. Yeah. That being said, I don't know why fun was added in the front of the name. That's a very weird thing to add to the designation. And I'm thinking this is another situation like Ebby Bergermon. That means something. Let me look that up. That's a weird thing. Hold on. I'm going to wait a bit just to let my throat cool down a bit. See, I'm trying to figure out the naming convention they went with this. Okay, but what does... Because I'm looking on Reddit and it's saying fan and fun share the same katakana. But what does that mean? I think the name is just a weird language situation. We're gonna wait. We're gonna give this about 10 seconds before we move on, because my throat is also starting to. Whew. Remember to drink water. I'm not even going to say the Alexa anybody thing because it doesn't need it. It's perfect as is. So here we are on Gabumon. This is again one of the early designs of Digimon. So, and no, we're not going to be going over what Gabumon looks like under the Garurumon cloak because we've all seen the cringe. Actually, that's not a really cringe design. I think it works okay. But for this, things I like. I like that it looks like a pseudo wolf. like a pseudo wolf lizard thing. Like it's an Agumon trying to be a mammal. That be, I like that. And I'm glad they did just go like Agumon Wolf or Wolf Agumon. Things I don't like. I think this is. I don't know what this is supposed to be, and it's a weird inclusion in the design. I think I would have preferred, just a standard oval without this spaghetti stain. I also feel it's getting towards being a little too complex. Probably, like I said, omit the spaghetti stain. I'm almost about to say that omit the horn, but the horn kind of ties it, so I'm going to say no. Maybe make the tail a wolf-like tail? Or maybe cover it so that it looks like he's using a wolf-like tail. Because, it's a neat design, but I think it's overcomplicating things. Between the pizza stain and not really knowing whether to be a wolf or a reptile. And I'm glad it's not, it's Wolf Agumon. But unfortunately, this is one of those, it's not the perfect. It's not a perfect design. Sorry, Matt. You're a neat character, but I'm sorry, your partner is not one of the perfects. And I have a feeling I'm going to have a lot of people saying that I'm wrong. And I agree. I probably am very wrong in that assessment. But hey, I need that engagement. So, things I like that it's kind of like an Agumon that wanted to be a mammal. I like the inclusion of the pelt. I don't like the pizza stain, and I think the tail should have been hidden more like a wolf thing, more like a wolf tail. We're going to give 30 seconds. Thoughts? So we're going to go on to the next design, which is Gabumon Black. And here I think they did a better job. Here, I realized that the last design looked like Agumon wearing a wolf pelt. This actually looks like the wolf pelt is part of the reptile. The tail is still a weird thing. I think they should have covered it like the previous design. But I like the simplification of the colors. I like that this reads like a small wolf thing with a horn. Things I dislike, I think the pizza stain adds a bit too much to the design. But otherwise, I think this is an improvement over the previous Gabumon. So I'll say this, that Gabumon Black actually gets the perfect design choice over the original Gabumon. Which is a weird thing to say. Again, another recolor that squeaked on through. It's a recolor that did better than the original. Huh. That's weird. So I guess, I like that the design ties in together. I like that the color design works in together. I don't like the ketchup stain and the tail. I don't like the spaghetti stain. 30 seconds. Actually, what I'm going to do right now is we're going to put a pause on this so we can help others catch up, and I'm going to go quickly take a bio break. Real quick. What did I miss? Not much. Huh. Wow, this really is a slow night. I'm gonna see where we can. So, my apologies about the long wait. I think we're gonna go through all the G's, and probably up to. I'd like to at least get to Huckmon for this session. The reason I'm saying that is voice, and we're not having a lot of interaction. Because I like interacting with you guys. I like to have this fan interaction. So, here we are on Gabumon X antibody. So, we haven't encountered the big issues with X antibodies, not yet. Let's go off of the design. So we've seen some. So we're already. I'm seeing some improvements. The tail reads more wolf. They kind of fixed up the pizza stain, although I still have the problem of, I think that design is the wrong way to go. You've played up towards the. It plays up more towards the pelt and mammal. A lot of that is improvements. However, as stated, we have to say some things that are good and some things are bad. Things I don't like. Why is it this should be an X? I know it looks briefly like an X down here, but I think this should have just been a standard red X. I think the tail should have had a bit more white at the end. Maybe, as for the arms, what I think is going on is the Digimon is supposed to have like two arms that he can put his hands in and use as claws, like Wolverine. This is more on the design they're showing. I think that they should have done a better job of depicting that, because here it just kind of looks like he's got one hand with claws like... Oh, who's that Street Fighter character? He's Vega, as called in the US. I think he's called... Not M. Bison. Vega, M. Bison... He has the claws. and is oftentimes just kind of ignored. Um, and Bison, Vega. Can't believe I don't got his name. I know he's called Vega in the U.S. So, but yeah, things I like. They lean towards the mammal aesthetic, tying it together. I don't like this pizza stain. It should have been necks. And maybe put a little bit of more white into the tail. But that's more of a nitpick. I'm not going to say that it's a perfect design. It's not overly complicated. It's just seeing what I saw with Black Gabumon. I think I'd prefer that over Gabumon X Antibody. Thoughts? Going towards another 30 seconds. So let's back up. Head towards the next Digimon. Gammamon. As we all know, it's the Digimon from Ghost Game. He's just a little guy. Things I like. I like they went the route of a Triceratops, especially with a lot of the reptile Digimon, because a lot of times when they do the reptile Digimon, it's the T-Rex or a Velociraptor. I think the white was a neat little design element. The red highlights is a neat little concept. And I like, when I was trying to remember Gammamon, I was thinking the scarf was red, but it's blue, and it fits. If I had a complaint, which I really don't, maybe put a logo on the scarf. I think a logo like the Digimon logo on the scarf would really help. But otherwise, this is a perfect design. Like, this is... Like, I'm having a very hard time coming up with a problem with this design. Maybe the tail and this Velociraptor kind of movement because he's a biped, but I don't really have a complaint. I really don't have a complaint with this design. It's, again, one of the perfect designs on here. We're getting a lot of perfects this session. That's very weird. And my only real complaint is, I'd like to see a logo on the bandana, kind of like, well, no, not even Immon does that. I guess the only other thing would maybe put red stripes on the tail and on the legs. But otherwise, this is a perfect design. It's a perfect design. Triceratops, but it's kind of different from a Triceratops. It's cute. It's like something I'd see. Like, if this was on a Digivice, I think as a kid I would have liked it, although I would have preferred Agumon. But it's a neat design. It's kind of like Guilmon, where it's semi more complicated compared to everything, but it works. You don't see it on this design, on this picture, and I'm sad they don't put it. Gammamon actually has bat wings. It's seen in the anime, and I'm actually disappointed they don't show them. These aren't bat wings. This right here are not bat wings. Those are just fins. And I'm disappointed they don't show the bat wings because they add a little cuteness to this Digimon. Like, it's perfect. He's just a little boy. He's just a little guy, I mean to say. He's just a little guy. So, now we're on Gaomon. Gaomon, I believe, came from Data Squad, and this is where things are a bit weird. Going into, from what I understand in that Digimon show, Matt is the boxer, while Gaomon's partner isn't. And it's very weird that the boxer doesn't get the Digimon that does the MMA fighting. That's a complaint on the show, though, so I'm not going to put that onto the design. Things I like. I like that it's a canine-style Digimon. I like that they went towards the boxing wolf, or well, MMA fighting wolf design. The tail is an interesting concept. What I don't like, I think the white oval belly oval is unnecessary, especially with the fur collar. Furthermore, I think they should have added some elements of Gazimon, because Gaomon comes from Gazimon, a Gazimon that, let's read, it's a subspecies of Gazimon, and I would have preferred if maybe they add the tail buckles on the tail of Gaomon. I also think the long headband is a bit excessive. Not really much of a complaint, more of a maybe a bit excessive. Maybe just tone it down. As much as I want to say this is a perfect design, between the oval, the headband, and the lack of any real connection to Gazimon, I can't give it the perfect call. I like the concept, I like the idea. I think it needs a little more tweaking before we say it's good. It needs a little bit more time. That being said, I will give it the honorary perfect design. And we're actually getting, my throats are actually starting to feel a little spicy, so we'll probably be ending with Huckmon. I hate to say, I'm so sorry, Renamon 565. I'm so sorry. We will get to Renamon, but it will take time. But yeah, let's give it some seconds, 30 seconds. Okay, so Gaussmon. We got another Cross Wars Digimon. Let's go with things I like. Looks like a squig. It looks like a squig from 40K. I don't think that was intentional, but it's a neat little design quirk. You know, it's a mouth with legs. They really put off that this is a mouth with legs. What I don't like, as much as I like the squig from 40K, I think this design is a little too simplistic in its execution. And that's mostly because it's a mouth with legs, and I don't know. It feels like it needs more. I see the little wing spikes, but that's about it. This is one of those, you kind of want to add more to the design. It feels incomplete. I would have been okay if I think they would have helped if they added like some tiny little hands like a T-Rex, like this is a baby T-Rex. but as is, it feels undercooked. It needs a little more time in the oven. Interesting idea, but not a good execution. So we're going to give about 30 seconds. So moving on. I know we said I wanted to try to get to Huckmon. Let me see how many more of these. I hate to say it, but Gumdramon may have to be where I... Actually, I think I'll probably call it with Gazimon X antibody, because my throat is starting to... I'm starting to lose my voice. So, Gazimon. I'm not gonna lie, I have a soft spot for Gazimon, partially because Gazimon appears in so many seasons as sort of the generic bad guy villain, the generic Mook villain, and I'll say I'm surprised there are not more variants of Gazimon, with the exception of Gaomon. It's a weird Digimon because on one hand it kind of reads dog, but on the other hand it reads rabbit, and I think it's based off of rabbits. The buckles are a bit excessive. I think this is unnecessary. But other than that, I like the purple design. I'm not going to give it the perfect. As much as I like Gazimon, I'm not giving it the perfect. I like that it's a cute villain that you can add in. I like that it's not, oh, this is just a rabbit that's a Digimon, or this is a dog this is a Digimon. They actually made it its own mammal. But on the other hand, you have design quirks like the buckles on the tail. And I know in the show they're bipedal. This reads like they're a quadruped, and that's a bit weird. That they seem to be inconsistent with that. I guess I'll also add the ears read more like wings. I think that's a holdover from the in training. So things I like that it's a mammal that isn't easy to read. I don't like the ear wings and the tail thing, and that they can't tell if it's a biped or a quadruped. 30 seconds. So yeah, we're going to move on to our last Digimon of the night. And that is Gazimon Expert. And I don't like it. It looks like they took Pete from Mickey Mouse and tried to make him a Digimon. And it doesn't work. It looks way too cartoony for Gazimon, in my opinion. If you're going to make it an X antibody, I think you should have really leaned in towards a quadrupedal monster. This reads a little more like a saber-toothed werewolf. Again, you have the ear wings that I'm not a big fan of. You've added more buckles. Why would you do that? Stop adding buckles. This tail thing is like Teflon tape wrapping 3 tails. This doesn't even really read tails. This reads like a shark fin. Like, is this supposed to be a land shark? No, that can't be. We had Gaussmon. So, I guess what I don't like about it is you've taken a design that, while not perfect, was actually pretty neat. This reads, we've overcomplicated things, and it looks more like a... This is a champion. Like, if this was a champion, I would have accepted it. But as a rookie, it's too much. You need to simplify it down. It needs to be a lot less. And this shark tail thing is a problem. Don't do that. Too many buckles. You've got a weird shark tail. The Asterix the Gaul head ears, and the saber tooth. Why? That's just like unnecessary. So, yeah, this Gazimon was not perfect. He is most definitely a flawed Digimon, and this is not the direction to take. Especially with X antibodies, but we haven't seen the worst. So we're going to give it 30 seconds before we get to announcements. Booby pit. So, how are things channel-wise? The way how things are going right now, this might be the last stream of the year, probably even the last video of the year. That's mainly because we have Christmas coming up in the next couple of weeks, and as much as I'd like to stream, I kind of want to spend time with family, and I also want you guys to spend time with family. It's coming close to Christmas. I mean, I understand, if you don't celebrate Christmas, celebrate something. Celebrate a holiday. We're getting close to the end of the year. We got New Year's coming up. So, I don't know if I'll stream in 2 weeks. Partially due to I'd like to be with family. We'll see how things go. I'll post on Blue Sky and are even on. Why am I not talking? It's the talking. I'm losing my voice. I'll post on Blue Sky and here for all of you to see whether or not I'll be streaming. Hopefully nothing comes up at the last moment to mess up with a stream. We're going to post the link in the stream. So, like I said, follow me on Blue Sky for updates on whether I'm going to be streaming or not. As for my channel, I'm looking to I'm still waiting on the Digimon movie DVD to come in. And until then, I'm also working on End War. Whether or not End War will appear, End War will obviously not appear this year. It'll probably appear sometime next year. And as you can see, I posted my Blue Sky account thing so that if you would like to follow me on Blue Sky. As for this stream, I'm going to work to try and get something transparent on here, because I want to have you guys be able to post, because that looks really good when you guys post. Otherwise, I need to give my throat some time to rest. So that's why we're kind of ending it here. So, follow me on Blue Sky, and follow me here, like and subscribe, and I'll see you when I stream next. It'll probably be another stream either just before Christmas or just after New Year's. And hopefully by then we'll get more updates on my reviews. And yeah. We're going to